has served the elite Indian Army for 26 plus years. My formative years after college, 22 years old, I joined the academy.
Okay.
Fortunately, or either which way, I joined the Corps of Engineers, where I went on to do my BTech, and I also did my Masters. During the same time, I finished with my B School.
Okay.
I feel that my education had much to do with my logical thinking part. Engineering and the B School was innovative, of course. But what I picked up thereafter was a transformation. I became an international master trainer on human behaviors through directive communications psychology. I'm a life and a business coach through a Canadian couple. I am into empowerment of the mind, being a empowering leadership and fire instructor trainer. I make people walk the fire. And on the flip side, I read energies. I read people's face. I read tarot. I read Lenormand. I read the runes, the crystal ball. I am good at numbers, and I have walked into the path of being a spiritualist now, Pallavi.
Okay.
It is a very different ball game. As we go up, we will talk about it.
Right.
This path has taken me to much closer to my own self, and so very close to people who want directions, or who want a guidance, or who want a support. So I'm trying to be a good human. I write. I have written my first book in 2012. I'm trying to push out two more by the end of next year. And I have been writing prolifically in India, magazines, newspapers, and even abroad in Canada.
Okay.
So small little contributions here and there. That's what.
So I think I would love to congratulate you. I mean, so many achievements, and also good luck with the books that are coming out next year.
Yeah.
So like you said, you mentioned so many traits. So I think that you have a range of skills. Like, you have an entire skill set, which is not specific to one domain. So I would just like to know what you think about being an expert generalist.
Pallavi, I would start this with a premise that to be a professional is excellent. However, a professional or a person who excels in his field is a shade limited. I would say the depth is too good, but the width does not happen. And today's human resource needs to be tapped differently. Today's environment of the kind of industry that we have, and the numbers that we are, and the electronically or the IT sector being so vast, I personally feel that out of the 7 main resources, the human resource happens to be the most important one.
Right.
And the most neglected one.
Right.
So I feel that a generalist can handle this kind of a human resource better. Of course, if you are a professional along with it, that's a bonus. That's the topping up of the cake,
True.
So
true.
it's wonderful. Even I sometimes wonder whether these things or being a generalist is actually good. But when I see people and when I support their causes and their purpose, I do feel that yes, being a journalist is something damn good.
Yeah, right, sir. I mean, that's what I believe in too, and it's something that I strive to do, which is why I'm talking to, different people from different backgrounds, finding out what led them to, choose a path where they became an expert journalist. So, sir, like in your case, did you have a dream job or a career that you wanted to pursue during your childhood?
Well, that's a bouncer. Okay. Pallavi, what I remember of my childhood, I was a very very normal and a very common kind of a boy.
Hmm.
Um, I have had a very humble backgrounds. I have mopped the floors before going to school.
Okay.
Um, I never had a demand. My mother sometimes, God bless her,
Hmm.
she tells me that you never wanted anything. You
Right.
were a very quiet kind of a person when I used to go to people's place. I used to look at my mother and ask permission that should I do it or
Hmm.
should I take something to eat. So I think that I wanted to live the life as it came to me
Right.
and also live the life as to see how people are, to be in their boots, to be in their shoes.
Right.
That was also there from my very early childhood.
Hmm.
So balance, I never had a sort of a dream. Yeah, I thought I would become an Air Force pilot.
Oh.
But those
Okay.
dreams were shattered when I got my spectacles when I was in
Oh.
class 7th. So
So
I
that's
said,
very
no,
interesting
now
because
I can't.
yes, sir, please go ahead.
So I thought, no, I can't become an Air Force pilot. So I said, okay, let it be.
Okay, so I was just saying that it's so interesting because my previous guest as well, he had the same dream. Like he wanted to be a pilot, and I think yeah, he had an eye injury due to which he couldn't pursue that. So, wow,
Oh,
yeah, it's a strange coincidence. So, so like you said that you didn't have any dream as such, and you were very obedient, and you wanted to be empathetic. I mean, this is what I gauged from what you said. So I think that that is the kind of child that every parent would want to have. Somebody who listens to the parents and doesn't ask for anything. So that just brings me to my next question. So when you did, choose this career path, and when you went through so many different phases of your career, did you think that, yeah, okay, this is something that aligns with my educational background?
Pallavi, I feel that education, what I got was the right education because somewhere my brain was very logical.
Right.
Uh, as I see it today, I am pretty structured. Not 100%, but to a large extent. I feel that this education is knowledge to you,
Right.
but knowledge does not become power till the time you apply it.
Mm.
And application is not simple. For application, I think the other streams which started coming to me,
Mm.
like the energy reading,
Right.
like my spiritual journey, now that was perhaps making me a wholesome or making me more complete. So educational backdrop definitely is a need as per your choice or as per your brain composition.
Mm.
And then of course you build it up further to become better in your life.
Right.
That's how I
That's a good message, sir. I think, yeah, I mean, you should just keep going with the flow according to, whatever life throws your way. So, sir, you said that you joined the army when you were 22, if I'm not wrong. And I
yeah.
think that wasn't that a very young age to, be away from home and work in the army. So, do you have any message for any other young people out there who are probably looking at a career in the defense industry?
Pallavi, I'll answer it in two parts.
Sure, sure.
Uh, 22 is not a young age. I should have been in the National Defense Academy at the age of 16.
Okay.
Um, I have been on the sports field, I think from the same age, about 14, 15, 16 years,
Mhm.
where I carried my own hold all on my back and the bag here slung on my left shoulder. The message is that you have to understand the two words,
Mhm.
responsible and accountable.
Yeah.
These are two messages which people need to get as far as their choosing of purpose of life is concerned. when they go on to that path, they must understand responsibility and accountability. However, my message to the youth of today, Army is a wonderful organization. As far as discipline is concerned, as far as acceptance of the environment is concerned, as far as bringing your best out of you in the worst situation is concerned. Now, with these three, giving orders and taking orders, these three basically, they mold a person to a different being altogether. So what I am today is perhaps on the foundations which I had from that young time. And being a second generation army guy, my father was in the army, God bless his soul. So that is important. That is where I feel at the national level, when they speak about 2 years or 3 years compulsory military training, as in Germany or as in very many countries, I think that is one thing which can really mold you, can transform you to become a better young man or a person.
Yeah. Even I think that maybe something like a short service commission, it would be helpful to mold somebody into what it's like to have a routine at least. So a lot of people that I see, I mean, in my peer groups, they have problems in their life because they don't have a disciplined routine. So I think that is something that the army teaches you, how to be disciplined and, like you said, acceptance of the environment that you're in. I think those are traits that, especially right now during the pandemic, we need it. A lot of us, have ruined our sleep schedules due to the pandemic, and routines are going haywire because nobody knows what's going on. It's so uncertain. So, sir, I just wanted to know, since you talk about self empowerment, how do you think we can use that to tolerate the mental distress that people have been going through because of the pandemic?
Pallavi, a very pertinent question in today's time. Along with pandemic, whatever is happening otherwise also during our jobs, during our relationships or whatever.
Right.
I would pitch self-empowerment or strengthening of the mind under the same belt. If I do not get hurt and I do not hurt anybody else by my actions, words, or my feelings, I think I am a very balanced person. Therefore, for me, self-empowerment is but to be in a state of balance. Now, there are 4 angles which are connected to it. The emotional, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. It's a huge path. When we speak about the mind, we have the unconscious mind, we have got the subconscious mind, we've got the conscious mind, and we have the superconscious mind. Therefore, when you want to take this journey, we must understand that the ultimate goal is being in a state of balance. However, the path or the process is varied. People have different approaches. But what I find is that the 4 domains of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual have to be encountered during this process of achieving the balance, so to say, the self-empowered life.
Yeah, okay. So, sir, I think that out of the 4 angles that you spoke about, the spiritual angle is something that, I often think about because being, part of, I mean, the Indian culture is such that spirituality and religion, these are very common themes of discussion. So, sir, I just want to know, since it's very common to get confused between spirituality and religion, how would you put it? I mean, do you think that these two can coexist, or do you think that it always has to be like a parallel?
Pallavi, I'll give you a small anecdote. Being an international master trainer, on human behaviors, I conducted a lot of programs with leading companies both in India and abroad for
Right.
the executives, be it leadership skills, be it motivation, be it effective communication, be it team building, team bonding, be it strategic thinking, change management, you name it, the soft skill, I used to conduct it. But about 5 years back, I introduced spirituality into my sessions. And during the initial stages, the HR heads used to literally fold their hands and tell me, Alok, please do not speak about spirituality. You know, I took 2 years in that, in the same process. I kept banging my head. I said, doesn't matter. I will keep striving to get spirituality into my sessions. For 2 years, I was given a boot. I was told, no, no. They always gelled it with religion.
Yeah.
When I started opening up and telling them that by wearing a orange or by wearing a mala or a rudraksh, you do not become religious. You only get connected to your own energies. And spirituality is finding your own deep self.
Right.
Pallavi, if I do not know myself, how will I know you?
True.
You know, in one of my first book, I wrote, uh, if you want to have a relationship with anybody, you will have to have a relationship with yourself first.
Right.
To love someone, you need to love your own self first.
Right.
To be in gratitude to somebody, you have to be in gratitude with your own self. Therefore, spirituality and being religious are two different entities. Yes, they can run parallel because ritualistic people, those who are having rituals, going to mandir, even anywhere, I mean, Allah, people who go to the church, I mean, everything is fine. But if they are not able to connect to themselves and people around them, then religion is only running parallel to spirituality.
Yeah.
But yes, through spirituality, you can understand yourself much better and the people across the globe, people around you much better, with whom you communicate, have a relationship with, build a team, motivate them. So that is where I feel that they can run concurrent, but they need to have the same single objective.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that answer, sir. I mean, I think that the point that you brought up that to be able to love somebody else, you should first know how to love yourself. I think that is very relevant in today's world because most of the times what happens is that young people, or I don't know, maybe even people of the older generations, they try to find uh, love in a place where they probably won't find it. And I think that they should focus on loving themselves, and not searching for it, or going to other sources to look for it. So,
Very well brought out, Palvi. Love is not around you. Love is inside you. You can't
right.
search for it. You'll have to find it. You'll have to dig your own self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, sir, I'm sure that a lot of people come to you for readings, and sometimes what happens is that there is some bad news that you can see. I just want to know that how do you deliver this bad news? Do you keep it to yourself or do you let them know? Because if it's a loved one, you would obviously want to give them a hint that yeah, this is something that's going to come up, and you should be prepared for it.
Pallavi, very well asked. This question is a wonderful one. I want to give an insight into it.
Mhm.
One, there is nothing good, bad, or ugly. I really want to give this message to people.
Mhm.
What happens to you is because of you.
Right.
Nobody does it to you.
Okay.
That is universal first law. If
Mhm.
anything is happening to you, it is because of you.
Okay.
Now, I generally do not give two things to people.
Mhm.
One, the time of death,
Okay.
and second, the gender of the child.
Mhm.
These two things I generally do not communicate. Uh, in case there is some bad news, I communicate, but first I check the pulse and check the energy of the person who has come for reading, whether he or she has got enough emotional strength in them to take that. Because I do not please people, Pallavi. I am a very blunt reader. And if I have to tell something to someone, I do communicate. But yes, I do check the depth of the person. I do check what kind of strength the person has, and I communicate less the two aspects which I share. That
Right.
I do.
So yeah, so that's a good thing, and that you have a set of rules that this is what I'm going to follow, and if somebody asks me about this, I will make sure that I know what their mental health status is, or even physical health status is. Will they be able to accept, or that accept that bad news, or as you said, that just news, not bad, not ugly, not good. Sir, I was thinking about how during our previous conversation, you said that through numerology, you were able to tell me that that I might be a hermit in the future. So that just got me curious. How did you come to this conclusion by just knowing my date of birth?
Pallavi, first I want to ask you a question. Was this read or my communication to you online, was it correct?
Um, so what would you? I mean, how do you want me to?
I mean, was it right that you had thought of being a hermit, or you were thinking on those lines, or perhaps you
Yes,
have the
sir. Yes,
characteristic?
sir. Like I said, that has been, how should I put it? Spirituality is an important part of my life. So even if I don't identify myself as somebody who's religious, but I will always identify myself as somebody who's spiritual.
Okay, okay. So let me come to second part, that is numbers. You see, somebody came up with numbers 0 to 9. Each number has got a sound which is different. Each number has got a different planet assigned to it.
Right.
Like one has the sun, the
Hmm.
6 has the Venus. Similarly, all numbers have got their own characteristics.
Right.
So when I checked up with your date of birth, because we are born under a planetary constellation. I mean, there is a
Okay.
composition there
Okay.
when we are born.
Mhm.
So your date of birth says 27 uh, September,
Right.
and the year follows. So
Hmm.
moment you hit the first two digits,
Hmm.
you add them up, and it comes to 9. So
Right.
9, and your month also happens to be the ninth
Nine.
month.
Yes.
So 9 is very predominant in you. So
Hmm.
number 9, if you see from 0 to 9, and 9 is a very complete number in itself.
Hmm.
If I share with you the completeness of the number and then bring it to Hermit, you will be surprised.
Okay.
You take a circle and
Hmm.
you divide the circle. The circle has how many degrees? 360.
360. Yes.
3 plus 6 plus 0 is 9.
Okay.
You divide it into a semicircle. How many degrees will it have?
180.
180.
Right.
Add 1 and 8 plus 0 is 9. You
Right.
divide it into quarter, you divide it into half, you divide it into sub half, you divide it into whatever. Even 11.5 or 11.25
Hmm.
is how much? 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5
Right.
is
That's
9.
up to 9.
So 9 happens to have on the tarot card also a connection to the hermit.
Okay. Okay.
So when you have, as we shared initially, that expert generalist. So when I
Right.
look at you, I look at your features, I look at your date of birth, I immediately go back to the kind of knowledge that I have been able to receive till now, and I start putting 2 plus 2, 4 in a big way. So your
Right.
9 number has got the characteristics of a person who is hermit by nature.
Mhm.
I hope I've been able to confuse you and still bring you
Oh no,
some
sir.
clarity.
The whole concept of the circle, that was wonderful. I don't think you could have explained it in a better way. I mean, now I actually see it, because if somebody earlier had told me that 9 is a complete number, I wouldn't have been able to make sense of it. And so this was just, like a demo of what face reading can be like and what numerology can be like. Which one is your, favorite art? Like, which one do you think that is the most accurate way of determining or predicting somebody's future, or just even reading them? I mean, do you think that tarot is better than numerology, or like, how does it go? Is there a particular preference?
Pallavi, I'll have to give you a very a different answer.
Okay.
Each of the tools has got its own strength.
Mhm.
The point is that how do we utilize it?
Right.
How do we bring what is needed at that point of time?
Mhm.
As I received and I got these tools to myself last about 12, 13, 14 odd years, 5 years, new things kept coming to me. I started understanding the strength of each.
Mhm.
People sometimes tell me that is it not about judging a person that his nose is like that, so the characteristics are like that? I said,
Right.
no, it is not about judgment.
Hmm.
It is about understanding and thereafter applying it balanced. What do I have to gain if I give you a characteristic of your chin or your jaws where you can perhaps take up the challenge and fight it out? I don't have anything. But when I see your numbers, or when I do a tarot, or when I do a Lenormand card reading, which is a
Hmm.
French divination,
Okay.
things start popping out to you.
Hmm.
And you start reading the energy and you start reading the messages which are coming to you from
Right.
all around. That's where you build up your antenna. That is your beyond your 7 chakras, you build up your
Right.
ninth, 10th, 11th, and
Yes.
12th also. So that is where I feel each of these tools have their own strengths.
Hmm.
It is up to you which one you want to pick up, which conglomerate you want to do, what combo you want to follow, and then you can do a fairly good job by having a deep understanding of all.
So, sir, you mentioned something about Lenormand. That's something that I haven't heard of before. Could you just tell me a bit more about it?
Lenormand cards were given by Lenormand, a French predictionist.
Okay.
She predicted about Hitler. She predicted about the French Revolution, the kings at that point of time. It is a set of 36 cards.
Mhm.
Some teachers are teaching even 40 now.
Okay.
My teacher was we got it in the US.
Hmm.
She's Rana George, and uh, in Lenormand, you don't even need to ask any question.
Okay.
The grand tableau is a spread of all the 36 cards
Hmm.
in a particular format,
Hmm.
and each card there are 6 or 7 cards which become the center hub, and the cards which are spread around those center hubs
Hmm.
give the answer to career, relationship, marriage, health, finances, um, uh, third person in your life, or what could be the culminating point, the summary of everything? What have you hidden so far? Something secret, messengers coming in your life. And also the 36 cards in themselves also give a lot about a person. So when they come for a reading, if they have 90 minutes to 2 hours, we can rip them apart. I mean, literally. And they also feel, I had no question, but this guy has told me almost everything about me. So that is the strength of Lenormand card reading. It's a wonderful French divination, it is called. It's a wonderful reading in itself.
Right. I can't imagine, you know, like a pack of cards having so much power that it can tell you everything about a person's life, because I think you covered all the aspects that are possible to predict through that. That's very interesting. So I was thinking that, you know, you mentioned that how, right, you think that human resources is something that we neglect, and it is something that should be paid more attention to. So, as a human resource manager, I would like to know, what do you think of the application of psychology in this field, and as well as, you know, in the healing arts?
In the healing cards,
Yes. Like, you know, the like numerology or Lenormand, like you said. So, how does it, you know, manifest in that? Is there any application?
okay. I'll first pick up the healing cards.
Hmm.
If a person comes to me for a reading, it could be digital,
Okay.
it could be on Zoom, it could be
Mhm.
on a telephone.
Okay.
I need to know the person's face and I need to know the person's date of birth,
Hmm.
because you have to get connected to the energy of the person.
Right.
So the tarot cards have got the power to give you the three characteristics of a person.
Okay.
We call it the energy reading for a person.
Hmm.
Those three cards will bring out the characteristics of his mental framework,
Hmm.
maybe his spiritual side, maybe his emotional side,
Right.
maybe his physical side.
Hmm.
And if I now connect it to the date of birth, the numbers there as well will bring out the characteristics of that person. Like for you, a hermit,
Hmm.
right? So you will be a very knowledgeable kind of a person. Connection would be very good. Now, with the two parts of the energy reading or the alternate energy method system, we now come to the human resource manager, where he or she needs to combine the psychology of a person.
Right.
Now, my brain composition and my elemental composition, the five bhutattva or the five basic
Hmm. Hmm.
elements, would differ as far as you, Dr. Pallavi, is concerned, and me, Colonel Alok, are concerned.
Hmm.
So the human resource manager has to understand as to what is the composition of this person who is under in my team,
Right.
whom I have to give directions.
Hmm.
Now, my approach to doing a particular task is going to be different than Pallavi in the same team.
Yeah.
Here I bring the constituents of directive communication psychology.
Okay.
There are so many tools available to understand the characteristics of a person, but directive communication psychology talks only about four kinds of approaches of a person to a given task:
Okay.
the green, the red, the blue, and the purple.
Okay.
They have been named by Arthur F. Karmazi, my teacher, the world's top 10 leadership gurus, of whom I was the first master trainer in the world. Now, a green does not really think too much.
Hmm.
This person is a man of action. He listens and he starts taking action.
Right.
Red listens, consumes, makes a structure,
Hmm.
goes step by step.
Right.
The blue immediately gets connected with the heart.
Hmm.
The blue incidentally thinks from the heart and acts from the heart. The purple is called the information king. He is not satisfied. He or she would look at more information to what the manager has given. He will counter the manager. Manager would give one answer. He is not satisfied. He will ask one
Right.
more. The manager would say, oh, get lost.
Right.
Now, the question difference between the four people are, the green is asking to check what he is thinking and ask a question to remove his doubt. The red is asking for seeking more clarity of objective. The
Right.
blue is only asking question to get connected from the heart. The purple is asking question to get more information so that he can strategize. But the problem is the HR manager does not understand that these four characters are different.
Right. Right. Right.
He treats them, she treats them the way she or he is, not the way they are. So if I'm communicating with you the way I am, or if I communicate with you the way you are, where are more chances of understanding? I'm sure that if I explain the things as you are composed of, you will understand the things better, not the way I am.
Right.
And I'm not bringing in the fourth dimension of emotions. You have a different 8 or top 3 emotional set. I have got 8 and 3 top emotions different for me.
Okay.
Now that is a understanding which you need to have about a person, both from the psychological front and also from the healing or the energy reading.
Yeah.
Now the manager doesn't understand that Alok's nose happens to be much longer than Dr. Pallavi's. So
Right.
there has to be some characteristic. Are you getting my point? The manager says, I'm not interested.
Right.
And I would say that that is a shortcoming in the manager, that he can know much more about that person in his team and get much more out of that person if he or she tackles the person in a totality.
Right. Right.
So it is, see, if I go for an interview to take an interview of a person, I just need to know two things. I want his date of birth and I want to see this guy for 5 minutes. No questions asked.
Right.
So that is the strength which the human resource manager today can have to get the best for the organization and to get the best out of that person whom you have hired.
So, sir, as as an international DC master, is that something that you teach? I would like to know about your experience of, being a master.
Dr. Pallavi, I'll first span out the locations, Bali, Bhutan to some extent, Cairo, Egypt, Qatar, US, parts of US, India, of course, across the north, south, east, west, all metropolitans, small townships, small companies, huge companies, individuals. Directive communication psychology, being a master trainer there, let me share, we used to be approximately 89% to 93% bang on target.
Okay.
People could understand, we talk about 360 degrees, we have got methods in DC psychology, being a master trainer there, where we can make a person understand as to what Dr. Pallavi is thinking about Colonel Alok. And Colonel Alok will never understand that in case he is in his own tune. But if I understand what Dr. Pallavi is thinking about me, of the 10 particular characteristics, how she scores me, I would understand it much better that there seems to be some communication gap.
Right.
So when we use these tools, and when I have used these tools across the world and in India, I found that people's understanding went higher. They started understanding a team that they were in much better, both from the approach of the task and also from the emotion. These two things complete a person. And DC psychology, and from that perspective, I found that DC had a wonderful beat. It had a wonderful reach to
Hmm.
people for effective understanding of all the soft skills which perhaps a person needs.
Nice. So I think that your journey as an international DC master trainer, it's been wonderful from what you're telling me. You know, so much of travel and meeting new people, training them. So, sir, the colors that you mentioned, the red, green, blue, and purple. Which of these is least desirable? Is there something of that sort, or I mean, should we treat all the employees as the same?
Okay, okay. So, Pallavi, first of all, each one of us has all the four characteristics.
Okay, all right.
So, out of 100, if I take myself that I
Hmm.
have transformed,
Hmm.
and I'll tell you how.
Okay, sure.
Um, I was 75% red.
Hmm.
I was about 20% blue. Uh, I was 4 or 5, 6% green, and purple was hardly existing.
Okay.
Now, I have seen people in Cairo, in fact, and in Bahrain also. There
Hmm.
were two people who were 97% green.
Okay.
Now, I would say that if you know your composition, you know your strength, and you know your weakness.
Right.
Now, how I transformed myself, because I thought that I need to reach out to people.
Hmm.
So I had to be a great communicator. I had to get connected to people. I had to think quick in my head. I needed a lot of information and understanding.
Right.
Of course, I needed to be structured, which I already was.
Hmm.
So I reduced my red composition from 72 to 75 to brought it to about 50, 55. I
Okay.
increased my component of blue from say 10 or 12 to about 20, 25. And
Hmm.
thereafter I brought in the green. I now crack jokes. Earlier I never used to crack a joke.
Wow.
So that aspect, and purple, I had, when people asked me a question, I
Hmm.
had to dig deeper from my knowledge that all right, his or her question is pertinent. So I used to get more information. Like somebody bowled me over in one of my forums, a foreigner was there from
Okay.
South Africa. He
Hmm.
says, Colonel, how much water should I drink? I am 100 kgs.
Hmm.
And believe you me, Dr. Pallavi, I had no answer. But of course, I gave him the answer in a manner so that he was satisfied. So I came back and I read, I found details that brought in my purple, increased my purple. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we have all the four in us in varied magnitude, quantified, but we need to know from that as to what my strength or weakness is as per the job I am doing.
True. Right.
Got it? If I'm an academician, I
Hmm.
need to be a good red and a good purple.
Right.
And of course, some blue. I can do without a green.
Yeah.
But if I am a green and I want to be a PhD, well, my dear friend, you will have to do a lot of work. And your guide is gonna be pulling his or her hair apart if you're gonna be doing your PhD. So you have to get the components of a red and a purple along. I
Right.
hope I tried to make clear.
Yes, sir, it's very clear to me now because I see that in myself, you know, as a dentist who is interested in research activities and things like that. When you were describing the different colors, I thought, okay, maybe I fit into the label of red. But as you told me about purple, you know, that it's not just someone who keeps countering somebody else, you know, which would portray that person as being annoying. but it also has its perks. Like, so the person is working on themselves, they're trying to learn themselves, and yeah, that is something that I do. So I think that you're right. Somebody who is in academics, or somebody who is interested in research, they should have red and purple, for the structure, and also for the curiosity to know more, to learn more.
Yeah, I will add the color of blue, Dr. Pallavi. You have to have blue if you're a dentist, because you have to get connected to that guy who's on the chair.
Right, right.
If you're only looking at that tooth and you're digging into, I have had 2 root canals,
Okay.
and my doctor was a very good blue.
Hmm.
I mean, so that aspect has to be understood. You have to be connected as well. So that is where the 4 emotional drivers, the 4 colors play their role. Of course, emotional drivers have got it. It not only complicates, but it also makes things easier. But that's a very deep study of directive communications.
Right. So like you said, that blue is also important. I think that in dental schools, they might teach you how to structure a research study, or they might tell you that okay, these are the steps. But the element of blue, it's not something that can be taught. It I believe that it has to come from within. What do you think about that? Like you said that you transformed yourself. Do you think it's possible for people to add in more blue?
Yes, Pallavi, you can. You know, uh, I wish I could show you my first video while I was doing my Train the Trainer program with Arthur
Okay.
in Lonavala. You would say this guy is crazy. He does not know how to talk. He is talking through his hat.
Okay.
There is no connectivity.
Hmm.
His eyes are so rigid. When
Hmm.
I look at you now, my eyes have now become what? Bland. I am just looking at you as an object. But now my eyes have become soft.
Hmm.
So I am now looking at you as a subject.
Right.
Therefore, spirituality,
Hmm.
the mind empowering activities, deep insight within yourself, the application of the knowledge that you have gained and have understood, they bring a change in you.
Right.
They start bringing a change in you so that your connectivity starts increasing.
That's very interesting. I mean, to know that you don't have to be a rigid personality. It's a spectrum, and if you want, you can transform yourself. That's really good. So, sir, I'm sure that when you get people to come to you for readings, or like you were saying earlier, that you have a set of rules that you don't tell them about the time of their death, the date or time of the death, and you don't tell them the gender of their child. So, is there anything else that you keep in mind before the reading begins, or is there something like a set of etiquettes that you have to follow?
Pallavi, no and a yes. No, because I generally look at a person the way he or she is.
Hmm.
Of course, we understand a lot. We have an insight into what the person is thinking. So, number one thought that I have is that this person has come for a reading, so I must give him or her or the team or the couple the
Hmm.
best that they need. So
Right.
ab initio, my questions are very clear that you want things in clarity or you want me to
Hmm.
hide something. Do
Okay.
you want me to please you or you want me to be blunt?
Hmm.
Mm, do you want me to do yes, ma'am, yes, sir, or you want me to be myself?
Yeah.
So in the initial ice breaking, I generally take 1 or 2 questions out of what I have spoken to you now.
Okay.
But as far as the person who's come for a reading is concerned, I
Hmm.
think I don't have any rigid rules. No rules are there for me. I feel that a person has come for a reading. Let him or her be what he or she is,
Right.
and you play the rhythm as per you, because you are the consultant now. You can't task them. You can't you can't leash them. No, you have to play the way they are, but what you have to speak out, say that. Speak that up openly, bluntly, maybe a little. I mean, you can be a little flexible, but
Hmm.
you can't go out of your objective. So
Right.
I don't need any etiquettes from people.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't feel that they need to be acceptable, but there are cases where people don't accept it. Go. You
Okay.
have to take that. Everybody is his own.
True. True. I mean, so the most that you can do is give them the reading and just hope that they accept it, or they get the answer that they were looking for. Right. So, sir, I think this brings us to the end of this wonderful session. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation and coming here to do this with me. I just want to know if you have any last thoughts or a message that you want to give to the audience, or maybe even an upcoming project that you would like to talk about, like the book that you said, which is coming out next year. If you have anything that you want to share, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi, first of all, for the time that you have given me. Uh, well, I would give you a small little thing before we leave.
Sure.
I am trying to pen down a book by the name of title would be Life's Purpose from 2 to 1 to
Hmm.
0.
Okay.
2 being duality, 1 being non-duality, and 0 being what people talk of enlightenment, shunya,
Right.
bliss. They name it in a very different manner. What I want to send a message to people loud and clear is the 3 dimensions can change: the space, time, and distance.
Hmm.
But one dimension will never change: you.
Right.
Whether you want to look at yourself from these 3 dimensions alone, or you want to rise a little higher, the higher self. I'm not talking about somebody
Yeah.
there. No,
Right.
I'm
Right.
talking about you,
Yes.
because at this moment it is you and me.
Mm.
So we need to go deeper. I'm not talking about millennials. I'm not talking about Z tribe and whatever Y X Y. I mean, I'm not interested. I don't categorize them that way. I just want to send one message that please be yourself.
Mm.
Know yourself more. Dig deeper into yourself till the time you find that strength. And then you would go around in giving, sharing, getting the purpose of your life
Yeah.
and being happy.
Mm.
I'll give 3 C's. The 3 C's could be cribbing, they could be crying, they could be complaining.
Mm.
But the 3 C's could also be calmness, composure, and care for self and others. Which of the 3 will give you a better energy? I am quite sure the latter one will give you more positive juices, which will give
Definitely.
you a better auric field. But if you're cribbing and crying and complaining, where will your energy go? Where will your auric energy be? How many people will listen to you?
Right.
You will have to take a call that how you have to discern, how you have to have that viveka, discriminatory power of wisdom.
Right. Right.
Choice is yours. And well, you will learn. Maybe you'll take some more time, years and lives.
Mm.
Maybe you'll learn it faster. So it is up to you what you want to do. I'll bring it to a short from my end by going back to the universal first law.
Okay.
Whatever happens to you, the reason is nobody but you.
Right.
So let your thoughts be what they want to be. William Shakespeare said, thoughts make to the man.
Right.
So what you're making of yourself is your choice, Dr.
That's
Thanks a ton for the time given. Thank you.
Help you increase the number of views on a post. We can maybe double it. Mine actually tripled. So I went from having anywhere around maybe 2,000 views to 6,000 views.